What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to Trading Live with Bubba. And it's the markets are running. I mean, I guess the news was good today. I don't know, but when you look at the bigger picture, we're really just still in a consolidation. We're getting a little bounce where you might have expected it, but it still appears where we drew our line for the tops. It appears that the tops are still in. So until that changes, now the NASDAQ is the same as the S&P, maybe a little bit worse. Now the Dow and the Russell did make new all-time highs before falling back down a little bit. But again, it's very quiet. There's not a lot of volume. There's not a lot of action right here. So we'll see. I don't know if we'll get any trades or not. I don't plan on putting on too much. We'll look at everything as we always do, but I don't plan on putting a lot on because of the holidays. Do you want to work during the holidays? And just historically, tomorrow for professional traders, tomorrow is normally the last day of the year because, we don't do a lot. Next week's a shortened week with the holiday in the middle, and the following week is also. So we'll see. I mean, again, we'll be here on Tuesday, but there's not much to look at. There's not much going on. Just a kind of a grind higher right now, and they're up pretty solid. We'll see if that holds on. But again, we don't have anything for us to do based on what we're using or our model right now. So we're, sometimes you just got to sit out and watch it. And that's kind of the theme today is, kind of learn to be patient and not do much. Again, I'm not going to force any trades. I always ask the question to everybody, if I'm not willing to, good morning, what's up? If I'm not willing to risk my money, why would I want to risk yours? Okay, that's the way that I always look at it. And, at the end of the day, there's not much going on there. Maybe there could be something coming in gold, but look at how light the volume is. The indexes are consolidating. So there's really not a lot of activity here anyways. So, why should we force ourselves into a trade? I mean, again, I would assume based on what's going on, you'd have to lean to the upside, but certainly it's kind of difficult to want to buy the Dow when it's up 500 already and you're chasing up to the top. We'll see. Again, I'm not going to force anything as always. I'm going to sit back and we're going to watch, and maybe gold will be a trade here. We'll watch it here for a minute. We'll look at the rest of the stocks that we look at every week, and we'll see what happens. Again, I don't have a lot to to do. It's very quiet, although it's obviously much higher. Big rally. But at the end of the day, it's, I don't know what this rally is about. Is it a short covering rally from, because this week is actually still basically lower for the week? Again, when you have markets that are just kind of drooling and dribbling, not a lot to be excited about. So we'll see. There is a potential in gold here. I doubt it, and I would doubt that I'm going to take it because there isn't enough volume. I'd like to see the volume get up to here. Then I might consider it a little bit more, but certainly it kind of qualifies. But I'm not kind of interested, if that makes sense. Okay, I'd rather be careful here. Again, you've got a triple witching expiration, which can create all kinds of havoc as well. As we see positions get exited, so it's very close. Okay, it could be something we could look at. I am going to choose to pass it because it is not exploding through. It's just kind of grinding up there. So, and gold is now on its high of the day. So we'll see. It's close, but I'm not going to take it. Okay, so let's take a look at what we look at every week, anyways, and we'll come back and forth as usual. Apple got a little bit oversold. Obviously, there was no trade. If anything, you'd be a seller of put spreads in here right now. Amazon, Alpha Michael Zulu November, right in the middle of nowhere. You're getting a little bit of a bounce, which you might have expected. But again, everything looks a little bit toppy. Now we can see some consolidation here. Where's the next move going to be? It could be either way. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the markets can't go higher. They look like they've reached some tops here, but we'll see. Coin. Again, if I were going to do anything, I'd be looking to sell some put spreads here. But again, with the lack of activity, I'm really not all that interested. crowd. Certainly, if we were together on Tuesday, we would have potentially looked at buying it. But again, if you want to trade it, it would be a selling at put spreads here. Now, again, I am not going to. For me, other than day trading, my year is over tomorrow. Okay, so whatever happens, happens. But I'm not going to be actively trading all this stuff. I will obviously share it with you. Ether, nothing to do. The crypto market's been getting hammered. Meta, getting close to maybe selling call spreads, but you've got a little bit room to go before you'd want to do that. Once again, we're kind of in the mid range of a lot of stuff based on the overall action in the market. Google, as we said a couple of weeks ago, was a great sale, and of course it has been. It's come down from 330 down to 300, so dropped about 10%. It is getting close to a point where you'd want to be a potential buyer. INOQ, kind of in the middle, still in that consolidation band. And all these lines that are drawn in are mostly drawn in on Monday when I'm doing my Monday night call. So you can see, where we are and where we've been, and we haven't really been much out of that range. IWM, really not much to look at. Again, kind of mid-range after making new highs last week. MP certainly would be one to look at selling some put spreads if you were looking for a trade. I would have no issue with that. Again, as I said, I'm going to pass myself. Microsoft, nice little bounce off the bottom, which you would have expected. We would have been in a trade if we were together, but again, we didn't, and that's always the story. I don't talk about trades I didn't make. MSTR, certainly like the rest of crypto, a little spot to potentially look at. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the world over here. So again, not really much of excitement that we really want to force ourselves into here. Gold could still be looked at, but it should have reacted a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it, and we'll come back. At Netflix, really in consolidation, not much to do in here. NNE, not much to do in here. Nugget, not much to do here. NVIDIA certainly is a potential. You want to sell some put spreads, you should expect a little bit of a bounce here. But again, we are starting to see a lot more of this pattern. So, lower highs and lower lows are not typically a bullish pattern. So that's something to remember and think about. Palantir, really in consolidation, as you can see. QBTS in consolidation. So once again, we're seeing a lot. If you have any questions, you want me to look at any particular stock, feel free to type it in the chat. I'm happy to do that for you if you want. QQQ, again, looks just like obviously Qs, and certainly in holding the top as we thought. SMCI is certainly would want to be a seller of some put spreads here if you wanted to trade it. SPY, nice little rally today, but once again, same as before. Still, kind of heading a little bit south and in mid-range. XYZ, look to sell some call spreads potentially. Tesla, certainly look to sell some call spreads here. As I said, I'm not participating right now, but that's what I'd be looking at if I were. Win, nothing to do. XBI, nothing to do. And Zoom, nothing really to do. So it's pretty quiet. Not a lot of action, not a lot to do. So we come back and look and see if we're going to get any day trades. AVGO, sure. Broadcom. Alpha Victor Golf Oscar. This would be one to look to sell put spreads if you're looking to get long. Okay. That would be, that's what, if I were going to trade this, that's what I'd be doing right here. It may go lower, but again, you're certainly very oversold. So you expect a bounce either way. If you sell put spreads, you don't have to have, it doesn't have to rally. You just don't want it to go any lower. So you can make money if the stock just sits there. And that's something that you want to look at. Does that make sense? So that's what I'd be looking to be a buyer here. If you were looking to say, hey, I want to be a seller, I'd look for a rally back to 340 to 350 to be a seller. But right now, I'd like to collect the premium and I believe that you would probably have a pretty high probability of collecting that premium. You know, I don't know that it's going to tank from here. Now, again, obviously anything can happen, but I think the probability is higher that we could see a rally here. So we are seeing a rally. We are getting up near our highs once again, but there's no action. There's no buy-in. And gold continues to go higher, which is why we pass it, because there wasn't enough juice or energy to get us to want to get involved. And this is something that you always have to remember. We have to have a reason as to why we want to be involved in anything. Okay. And without a reason now, you know, gold is snipping up to 3 standard deviations away from the mean, a little bit more of a rally, and we will take a look at it. Okay. Now we're talking about something different. Not only is it going up on some volume now, but it is getting to that point of 3 standard deviations away from the mean. Okay. So right now, if you're game, I'm going to sell one gold here. Okay. I'm going to sell another one higher. Okay. And then I'm going to put my stop in at 43.92. Okay. 43.92. So I am in gold right now. It is 3 standard deviations from the mean. Now, again, it doesn't mean it's going to go down, but it should pull back. But of course, obviously, it's right now back on its highs, and it's charging higher right now. And there's the true blow off that you'd want to look at. And it looks like it's going to blow right through, and it did. So now we're in another situation where I would continue to sell it. Okay, and now my new stop's going to go to 43.99. But this is way extended. Now, again, it can continue to get extended. There is no law that says it cannot continue to go. But certainly, this would be a spot to, if you're going to sell it, this would be the spot. Okay. But everything's kind of pushing higher right now. Not a total surprise. Again, it's thin, so the natural action is to move higher. Every index is on their highs right now, just about. But we have no trades to make. For us, they're really just in a consolidation pattern. But certainly, it looks like we're going to get stopped out on a second attempt at gold here. And this is one of the reasons I didn't want to get overly involved here, because I've seen this movie before. No big deal. I mean, again, it's part of the game. This could be our first losing day on our day trading here, but it is what it is. And that's it. So again, now the question is, you know, typically you would look to sell it again if it continues. But I'm going to take the loss and move on. I don't see any reason. Again, this is a market that I was concerned about. This is the action I was concerned about. So to me, it makes more sense just to sit back and, you know, not get yourself too overly involved in this because of the triple witching, because of what's going on. And that's always something that you have to, you know, be cognizant of in trading. Is what are the outside surroundings and what are the potential things that can happen. And you know that there's a lot of adjusting for the triple witching. There's a lot of things going on. So you could see some unusual movement. And you get some bigger whips. And certainly I would look for, you know, some other opportunities. But normally, you know, again, we take our loss and we'll look for and see if we get another opportunity in here. I will probably choose to pass and just lick my wounds for today. But again, I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying that this is one of the challenges and things that we deal with. Let's see what it looks like on the 1 minute. So if you were so inclined, it would be a spot to sell it again. And I'm not recommending that you do. I'm just saying that's, if you were so inclined to do so, this would be the spot. But overall, relatively quiet. I don't see a ton of things to do here. That's one of the things we have to always keep in mind is, where's the opportunity, and are we going to get the kind of action that we need to be able to, trade actively. And that's, always something to be aware of and be cognizant of. But you are getting a pretty strong rally here, but it is on light volume. So I don't see much. I tell you what, we'll call it a day and we'll take our loss and have a great weekend, everybody. Remember, I do the market 120 every day, give you an idea of what I'm thinking. And I'll see you back here on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.